Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Benton ShiftShow 4x hanging rack, and we're going to see how it fits on the back of our 2024 Nissan Frontier. Now if you're looking to carry 4 bikes in your Frontier and not break the bank while you're doing it, then I think the Benton rack here could be a good fit for you. Of course, you do have a truck, and a tailgate pad is always an option. That's probably going to be the more budget-friendly pick, but it does require a couple things. You've got to lift the bike up and over the sidewalls of your bed to get it in here. If you go that route and you have a tonneau cover, then you can't have the tonneau cover closed and reap the security benefits and the fuel economy benefits. And it's just going to generally be a little bit harder to use because of that extra lift. Hitch-mounted racks like this, while they do add a bit of length to your car, leave your bed untouched, and generally are pretty easy to use. The thing I like about this Benton rack too is the fact that it folds up really compact for storage when it's out of the hitch, which is one of the biggest benefits of a tailgate pad. Looking closer at the rack, you'll see that we've got 3 points of contact over our bike's frame, 2 straps on the top and 1 on the seat tube here. It's going to minimize your back and forth motion, and the 2 straps up top will hold it down. Now, because it makes frame contact, it's not the best choice for a carbon frame bike, and alternative frame bikes probably will need a bike adapter bar to hang level. But because we've got a single arm here where all those cradles and straps are located, it should be a bit more friendly to smaller kids' frames. Now to release these, all you gotta do is press in on the button and pull the ratcheting strap out. As you do that, you'll notice that the bike does want to tip forward a fair bit because it's so off-centered. That to me is just more of a nuisance than anything else. It does hold itself at least. And once you're all done with that, you'll need to pick the bike up and feed it back off of that arm. This is a little bit of lifting, but still a lot less than it would be to get the bike into the bed of your truck. And you can kind of just shimmy it off slowly. You do have a weight capacity of 40 pounds per bike here, so you shouldn't be working with any bikes that are too heavy, but if you have trouble managing a 40-pound bike, maybe just grab a friend to help you out, and you can ease it off a bit more easily that way. When the bikes are unloaded, you can tilt the rack away from the truck just by going to the bottom and pulling this pin out and pushing the rack away from the vehicle where it'll eventually stop out. Now it doesn't tilt very far here, so it doesn't allow full bed access on our Frontier. The tailgate will hit before it's fully open, but this at least allows you to support it, gain access to the bed to grab out something like a bike pump or your helmets, and at least have some access. Of course, if you've got a tonneau cover and you have it open, you've got plenty of access through the sides, and this certainly allows you to open it up enough to open the tonneau cover and access those release latches on the inside of the bed. Now, like I mentioned earlier, because it's a hitch rack, it will add some length to the back of your truck. And from the bumper to the furthest point out, we're gonna be looking at about 36 inches that we add to the back. Overall, that's not bad for a 4-bike carrier, but there's a trade-off there. Because we're not adding so much length, that also means the cradles are gonna be much closer to one another. So if you are using this for you and a bunch of friends, where you've got 4 full-size adult bikes on here, you might find that you have a lot of clearance issues with all 4 of them, and you may run into the case where you just physically can't fit all 4. If you're using this for your family, where you've got 2 adult bikes and maybe 2 kids' bikes, I think it should be a little bit more forgiving, but it is something to be mindful of. Because we're adding so many bikes into such a close space, we're bound to start running into some clearance issues here and there. But if we want to save on space and not take this fully out of the hitch between rides, we can pull the pin at the top. That's the exact same as the one we saw down at the bottom, and fold it up for a more compact position. Sticking out only 14 inches from the back of the vehicle now, it's going to be a lot easier to drive around with and park with when it's folded down like this. And we can just leave it in the hitch until we're ready to ride again. Taking a closer look at our hitch though, we can see it's fitting inside of our 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube, and it does come with an anti-rattle bolt that secures with a 3/4 inch socket on the other side, and it keeps things nice and solid in the hitch so you don't have any rattle when you're driving around. And like I mentioned earlier, this does fold up even more for storage, say in your garage or your house if you don't have a garage, just by pulling the same pin we used earlier to tilt it away, only this time we just fold the shank up against the rack. So we get this really nice compact storage position. Not many bike racks do something like this. So if you're limited on space, this is something that I really strongly consider because it does save a ton of room, makes it much easier to carry around, and still functions as a good, proper hanging bike rack with a really good weight capacity when you need it to. So for me, that would be the total selling point for this. I'm typically not the biggest fan of hanging style bike racks, but if you're on a bit of a budget, you're looking for something that's easy to store, but still has good weight capacity and works pretty well with the Nissan Frontier, then I think the Benton ShiftShow could be a really good pick for you. Again, my name's Aiden here with eTrailer, and thank you for watching.